AOC and her friends and followers were at it again last week. AOC responded to Josh Campbell, who is a CNN security correspondent. He said Americans are being evicted and losing their livelihood every day due to the economic stresses of COVID-19, which is just not true. The economic stresses are not due to COVID-19. They are due to the full-blown stampede of hysteria that the government took part in and then nuked the economy. COVID-19 did not do any of that. It was pure abject insanity and the actions, decisions, and health orders imposed by government that did this. Now, AOC does criticize the bailouts for Wall Street. I can't argue with her there. The Fed should stop their Keep Wall Street Afloat program immediately. But then she lists rent and mortgage relief, a second stimulus check, UI extension, emergency state and local funding, and expanding Medicare as solutions to these problems. Okay, but what is missing here? Maybe the root cause of all these problems? Maybe that's missing. Perhaps that should be mentioned. The root cause, of course, being government, not unfettered capitalism, which she and Bernie Sanders and their followers have said, which makes no sense at all. I mean, just to remind them, capitalism refers to private individuals or private groups having sway and control over their own private property. It was precisely the actions taken by government that was an affront to capitalism that caused this mess. Again, just a reminder, not for nothing, government ground nearly the entire economy to an absolute halt. They made it so a substantial percentage of all economic activity and a hefty chunk of the flow of goods and services they deemed to be illicit, and you could be punished if you partook in those economic activities. That is not capitalism in any sense. That is statism. That is the government mandating things with an iron fist. That's your friendly public servant telling people what they can and cannot do with their own private property, and if they don't obey, they get tagged with a nice big fine. That's not capitalism in any sense. Or better yet, if you remember, when jobs and employees were being labeled as essential and non-essential, and then they were permitted or prevented from working based off that classification. That was government doing that. And it's been said, because it's true, that all those jobs are actually essential. They're essential to what AOC is referencing here, people's livelihood. People need a place to live. They need something to eat. They need electricity and running water. But because government lost their mind because of COVID, they deemed the jobs of many people not essential enough for those people to provide those necessities for themselves. So you're basically being told you don't matter, so you can't engage in the activities that allow you to live. That was government telling people that. That has nothing to do with capitalism. It is the public organization that AOC works for that has inflicted this onto people. They are the ones that stabbed you, and now they're bickering over whether to give you a Band-Aid or gauze. I mean, what we really need is for them to stop stabbing us. We need you out of our lives. We need for your tendency to resonate with absolute hysteria to not rub off on us. Or we need you to not be so powerful that your tendency to resonate with absolute hysteria will rub off on us. And we need for you to not cause that chaos that you create to enter into our lives. It's much like everything else government does. They want to increase the amount of welfare they're giving out. Well, they can't do that without reaching deeper into everyone else's pockets. They'll rob you, give you a little something back, and then pat themselves on the back and say, look how benevolent we are. These people have to go. But that's it for right now. Like and subscribe, and take it easy.